Many people in the music industry would say that this day, September 9th, 1956, that we're about to watch, is the day that music changed forever. And one of the many times the music has changed forever, or went from one period to another. And that we could thank very much this time to Elvis Presley when he was his first appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show back September 9th, 1956. In fact, I said this in a different video recently, but one of my friends actually has 56 tattooed on him just because he's a huge Elvis fan, but also loves the fact of what Elvis did for rock and roll and the steps he took, as some people hated him for doing so, the pushback he got. But Ed Sullivan Show, Elvis Presley, Hound Dog is what we're checking out today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you checking it out. Thank you for taking some of your time and spending it with me. I appreciate you. And if you're new, not new, thank you so much for coming back. You are a true one. Thank you for sticking around. So let's get right into this. It's a shorter song, 1 minute and 29 seconds. What's funny in music? It's interesting to see kind of the progression of song length. I've found that there are certain periods of time when songs were very long, songs were very short, and everywhere in between. For example, now in modern music, I would say that the 3 minute is, or actually, up until maybe 2-3 years ago, I would say 3 minutes was the average song length. Now, with the TikTokification of the world, I would say it's gotten significantly shorter, around the 2 minute length. And it's just interesting to see how music has changed. But then again, in the 60s, it was like an 8 minute, you had Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, all these bands were releasing these really long songs. But very interesting. Let's get right into this. Let's see, we got Elvis Presley. If I recall correctly, one thing I heard about this is that they required the camera guys to shoot above his waist because they didn't want his, hip shaking to be on TV. And in fact, I believe, if I recall correctly, my grandma will tell me, if I remember correctly, she said that her dad would not let her watch Elvis on TV, which is just it's crazy to see how far we've come in as a society.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sullivan, we know that somewhere out there that you're looking at, and all the boys and myself and everybody out here are looking forward to seeing you back on television. And we'll be seeing you October the 28th in New York, and we're back on your show again. Friends, as a great philosopher once said, you ain't nothing but...
I want to comment on this, that it's so wild, how society has changed in the sense of maybe it hasn't actually. I was going to say you have Elvis, you have the Beatles, you have these bands that these the society or women, and it would these women were you hear the screams of these women, but then again you have it now. I was going to say you don't have that extreme passion anymore. And that could be true just because again, the access to social media, Elvis was the only person. There was nobody else, but now you have, take this with a grain. I'm not saying you have 1,000 Elvises, but you have 1,000 people that are on social, or millions of people, but you have 1,000 people that you could pick from. They all make the same kind of music. So now you don't just love that one guy. You like this guy a little. There's only so much love you can give, that your heart can handle. And you like this guy a little, this guy a little. But then again, you do have the there are groups like the Justin Biebers for a while, or the BTSs, where people do go crazy. But I don't feel like it's that same people would go crazy for Elvis and the Beatles, and I just don't feel like you have that so much anymore. I mean, people were literally killing each other. There's a story with the Beatles where some fans got into the hotel they were in, and they wanted to know where the Beatles were, so they asked the maid there, and she wouldn't tell them, and they killed her. You don't have that crazy passion as much anymore. And I'm curious to see. I'd be curious for your opinion as to why you think that is the case. His smile is great. Now that song is longer, correct? If like, I'm curious why there was only like a 30-second snippet of it. But one comment I do want to say is like, one thing I do appreciate about the modernification of media is the microphone situation. The way they used to do these shows is there was one hanging microphone, so that's why like you barely hear his voice. You could barely hear anything because it's like there was one hanging microphone called the boom mic, and it's just one mono mic that picked up everything, and like that's why you heard him when he was speaking. But as soon as he started singing and the drums and everything came in, it just sounded terrible compared to today's standards. But regardless, it's still a great performance and still one of the days that history has changed, man. So I'd love to know your perspective. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite performance or song is from Elvis, and I hope to see you in the next video. God bless. Peace out.